The 2016 Aston Martin Vanquish Volante Carbon Edition. This is a very important car for Aston Martin enthusiasts. Why? Because this is probably the very end of the era of naturally aspirated V12 Aston Martins. I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews. And the Aston Martin Vanquish Volante Carbon Edition. It is stunningly beautiful. I also want to thank Los Gatos Luxury Cars for letting me come on down and film this for you today. So the Aston Martin Vanquish Volante, just so that you know, is the term Aston Martin uses or applies to all of its models if they are a convertible, which this one definitely is. The Vanquish is also available as a hardtop coupe. I personally like the coupe a little bit more than the Volante that you see here, mainly because it has this really sleek styling, and I just like coupes in general more than convertibles, but again, to each their own. And when you take a look at this Vanquish compared to, let's say, the brand new Aston Martin DB11, I'll talk more about that a little bit in this review as well, you can see that this car is pretty well aged. That's because it actually dates back to 2012. So what that means is that this car is not going to be around a whole lot longer, and its 6-liter V12 is about to go as well. And speaking of which, let's give that engine a listen. Alright, again, that was the sound of a naturally aspirated 6-liter V12 engine with 568 horsepower at 6650 RPM and 465 pound-feet of torque at 5500 RPM. Now, power is sent to the rear wheels, obviously, through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Listen, V12s, naturally aspirated V12s specifically, are on their way out. Ferrari, for an example, is still sticking with the V12, but it's actually starting to hybridize it a bit, such as with the LaFerrari. Now look at this exterior here. This is painted Stratus white. It's got these 10-spoke forged alloy wheels, carbon fiber mirror caps, carbon fiber side strakes, that black front grille, the black hood with the side strake meshes, the black exhaust pipe, tailpipe finishers. Again, this is all a part of the Carbon Edition. Now, the Carbon Edition, you can also get in the black Carbon Edition. This one is obviously white. The Carbon Edition is just a special edition of the Vanquish Coupe and Volante that came out a couple years ago. It includes black window surrounds and, like I mentioned, those 10-spoke glass black alloy wheels. The interior also features what Aston Martin says, a choice of accent colors and materials that showcase a combination of standard carbon fiber features and black hardware. Those are their words. But the car from this outside, this exterior, it's just beautiful. Now, something else you need to remember about the Vanquish, it is still built on the same platform that actually dates back, I believe, to around like 2003, 2004. It underpinned the previous generation, or the previous actually Aston Martin DB9, which is the predecessor to the DB11. The DB11, it just premiered a little over a year ago at the Geneva Motor Show. It is entirely new from the ground up, new platform, new engine, new everything. And that kind of brings up a very interesting question as to why would anyone want to go for a Vanquish when there is the new DB11? Well, the simple fact of the matter is the DB11 has a twin-turbo V12 as opposed to this one that has a naturally aspirated V12. And I don't think there is a bad angle to this car whatsoever. Everything just looks very Aston Martin-like, but also very athletic and sporty. Again, you when you buy an Aston Martin, you're also buying a status symbol, and that's one of the reasons why people buy Aston Martins, just like they go with Ferraris, for that matter. And for the record, this is sort of like a GT car, a Grand Tour. It's not quite a supercar. That would be the Aston Martin 177. It was a very special edition that they built a few years ago. However, the Vanquish has some 177 styling traits, especially in the interior, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But some of the extra features that this particular car has is these red brake calipers you see here for $1,595. As you saw when we started up the engine, that second glass key, that's an extra $750. And the convertible wind deflector is $750 extra as well. And judging by the sound that you heard when that engine got started up, you're going to get noticed in this car. And for me, I definitely want people to stare when I go by on this. As I say, down Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive. That 6-liter V12. Sadly, this is going to be discontinued very soon. Performance 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, 0 to 100 miles per hour, 8.9 seconds. Top speed in excess of, believe it or not, 200 miles per hour. You're going to go very fast, obviously. Fuel economy, 13 miles per gallon in the city, 21 on the highway, and a combined 16. The vehicle weighs just around 3,900 pounds. Depending on features, it might even get up to about 4,000 pounds. So this is not a light vehicle. One of the reasons being is that V12 weighs quite a lot. So look at this interior here. It has what the Aston Martin calls the all Obsidian black leather. Take a look at that steering wheel. Now, again, this is where the 177 comes into play. It has a 177 style steering wheel, which is really cool. Now, some of the extra features inside of this, it's again, nothing is cheap. The carbon fiber paddle shifters, $3,190. Even the garage door opener with an auto dimmer feature, $750. The seat accent and parcel shelf quilting that you see all throughout those seats there, that quilting pattern, $3,785. And that that 177 style steering wheel, $1,595 extra. Heck, Aston Martin even charges $295 to get an umbrella with this thing. There's that glass key insert. I just love the way you do that. It's just so Aston Martin-esque. And I love that steering wheel. Well worth $750. Actually, no, I apologize. That is not $750. That's $1,595 for that steering wheel. Not cheap. I love this red stitching here. Now, this dash panel here, you got to remember something. It looks really pretty. I love the design. It's just not the most user-friendly. There's a bit of a reach there from the driver's seat. The buttons are a little hard to work. They're kind of small. And then you have the nav screen system. This screen, it is ridiculously tiny. It is very much out of date compared to anything even from a Kia these days. It kind of amazes me that Aston Martin has gotten away with using this older infotainment system for this long. Fortunately, in the new DB11, again, everything is all new, and this problem has been resolved. But again, this kind of brings back a very interesting point that I'd like to make here as to why anyone wouldn't want to buy a Vanquish. It continues into the 2017 model year. It actually has received some updates that this one does not quite have. The Vanquish S, that's what it is, has received a bit of a power boost as well. But again, compared to the DB11, let's just talk about that here. Now, the DB11, it ditched the 6-liter V12 in favor of a brand new twin-turbo 5.2-liter V12, and that has 600 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. Now, again, compared, this car right here is 568 horsepower and 465 pound-feet. So from a twin-turbo V12, you're getting more power, and it's even faster. For example, 0 to 60 miles per hour in the DB11 is 3.9 seconds, and it'll also hit a 200 mile per hour top speed. And yet it also has not a whole lot better, but it is better fuel economy. So I hope to review the brand new DB11 very soon, and if you look at that car, it is absolutely stunning. It is a huge step forward for Aston Martin in every single category: engineering, design, handling, you name it. But the Vanquish here is still very special. Perhaps some of its little quirks in a way that make it a little inconvenient add to its personality. Like this here, very pretty dash, like I said, this whole center console. I love the design. I love all that carbon fiber pressed into it right there. Again, it's just not the easiest to work with here. And there you go for the transmission. That 8-speed unit, you just press the buttons and it does the rest. You have those paddle shifters there. Again, those cost extra money. And this is already the Carbon Edition. So, yeah, no matter what it is you spend on Aston Martin, you're going to be spending even more than you think. Now, some basic connectivity. This comes with a satellite nav system, as you saw there, integrated iPod and USB ports, satellite radio, and Bluetooth, so you get all of that. Here's another sign of the car's age. Look at that little driver gauge computer screen there. Just really, really tiny. And yes, the Volante. Here's the the convertible top. Now, stowing or opening the 3-layer cloth top takes 14 seconds and can be done on the fly at up to 30 miles per hour. Top or down the Vanquish Volante, it offers the same 9.8 cubic feet of space in the trunk as the coupe does. So, yeah, that's yeah, I'll take that. You get a good look here of the carbon fiber side mirrors. Just a great touch. Now, safety here. You get a lot of standard bits, driver and passenger dual stage airbags, 4-wheel ventilated carbon ceramic disc brakes with ABS braking system, electronic brake force distribution, dynamic stability control, emergency brake assist, traction control, 3-stage adaptive damping system, front and rear parking sensors, and a reversing camera. Now, how does this thing drive? Well, there's 2 settings, sport and normal. What's nice here is that it has hydraulic steering instead of electric, which means it offers really, really good steering feel and feedback and all that. And acceleration, as you can imagine, is just an absolute joy. Again, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds. It's really fast, and it's going to sound amazing while doing it. These seats here, these are 3-position memory seats, electronically adjustable front seats as well. They're dual stage heated front seats, and there's also a Bang & Olufsen audio system there too. The rear seats, they're there, very tiny. I think they're more for show, kind of like they are in a Porsche 911, if you will. Speaking of that, what is the competition here? Well, a few things come to mind, and I'm just kind of going by the engines here, like the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta and its 812 superfast successor. Both of them had naturally aspirated V12s. There's the Ferrari GTC4 Lusso, which is the FF successor, also a V12 naturally aspirated one. And then there's also, again, if you were kind of looking for similar performance and pricing, the Porsche 911 Turbo and the Turbo S, all of those cars I just mentioned start well into the 6 figures, as this one does too. And the pricing for this, well, the Vanquish Volante begins at this particular one, $320,695, with all the added features plus a $1,300 gas guzzler tax, not surprising there, and a $3,086 transportation and handling fee. Grand total for this car is $337,791. Very expensive, especially when you consider the brand new Aston Martin DB11 begins at around $215,000. And even when you add up all the features and extra goodies you get in that car, it'll still probably cost less than the Vanquish. The biggest thing you're giving up is the naturally aspirated V12, in my opinion. All right, so what do I like here? Well, again, the sound of that naturally aspirated V12. You can't beat that. A twin turbo V12, I've heard it in the DB11, and it sounds great, but it's not quite this. And the other thing I love here is the overall exterior design. I think it's aged beautifully since this car was first launched back in 2012. Aston Martin literally has not done any major design updates to it, and it still looks fresh, sleek, and sexy today. Now, what don't I like? Listen, it's just not as powerful as the new DB11, and yet it costs even more. The platform in which it's based on dates back, like I said, to 2004. That's when the DB9, the DB11's predecessor, came out. Because of its age, some of more modern technologies in it aren't available. And again, the bottom line factor here that I can't get out of my head that I don't like is the DB11 factor. You're getting more power, better performance, brand new platform, brand new engine, brand new everything for the less money or roughly the same money. You know, it's just how it is. I don't think the Vanquish, a Volante, or the Coupe are going to be around a whole lot longer. So if this is the car for you, I really recommend going out and buying one right now if you want one brand new. Of course, there's always going to be used ones on the market as well. But I'm out of time for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you have any more questions for me, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And be sure to read the full article on carbuzz.com, and I'll see you next time.